Hey, it's Azrielle Lawless, and you've come down the elevator one more time. And this time you found me chatting it up with Breanna Leslie. How you doing, Breanna?
Good, how are you?
Doing great.
Hanging in there.
I cannot believe that you just had a baby 2 weeks ago. It's Woo! Now I've lost the picture.
There we go.
I can't believe you just had a baby 2 weeks ago. It's unreal.
Yes.
Unreal.
Well, they say after you bring like the third one home, it's just like bringing home a puppy. So it is what it is.
After 6, it's like a bag of groceries, you just leave it on the counter,
Absolutely. That's where we're at.
Oh my God. Well, I am so happy to have you here on the show, and I'm very excited to talk to you about your writing career and about your Velas. They are much beloved, especially in the horror community. And I'm just super excited to see you here. I can't believe you're wacky enough to do an interview after just 2 weeks. People, she's got 3 children, all right? And
4.
The oldest one, sorry. What is wrong with me? She has got 4 children, okay? Now, she just had the one 2 weeks ago, but they are ages 6 all the way down, all the way down to 2 weeks. 6, then we've got almost 4, not quite 4, 2.
Tomorrow.
Do what now?
He'll be 2 tomorrow. His birthday's tomorrow.
Barely 2. And then 2 weeks. And this girl has been writing her face off. I don't know where. You don't sleep, right? Is that it?
I usually fall asleep with either my phone or my tablet in my hand from writing. So, and then I wake up the next morning. I'm like, is it good or is it? Most of it.
Well, geez, to be young, gotta say. So let's start out. We'll get started with my usual question, and that is, when did you get started writing?
It was in 2018 after my second child. I kind of started writing to get out of a postpartum funk. I had some depression going on, and when you're home all day with no one to talk to, you just make up characters in your head and talk to them, I guess. So that's what I did.
Oh my God. And this was after Jack was born. Okay. So,
and it started out like mostly nonfiction. Like I would submit to parenting blogs and websites, and then I was like, I'm bored with this, so I went to fiction.
Wow. And so did this do it for you? Did it help with your depression?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah. And now I feel like I'm contributing, so that's nice.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, because I went from being a therapist and using my master's degree to having this useless degree with student loans. So writing helped.
Well, I don't know that it's useless. Why would it be useless?
Well, because I'm not using it right now, is what I mean.
Well, I know. I guess I knew what you meant by useless. I don't know. I just think it's so great what you're doing. People don't stay home with their kids anymore.
I know.
And I think that it's showing in society. I think it's really starting to show.
Yeah, it is. We're homeschooling too, so we're like
we're a nation of people that farms out our kids from early ages to facilitate what oftentimes it's barely enough to pay their daycare that you're working for. And and I think it's turning out little monsters a lot of times.
Yeah. I'm fortunate. I'm one of the lucky ones that, we could stay home, and it was never really, we didn't talk about it. It was just the minute I got pregnant with Millie, I knew I was going to stay home, and I plan to stay home and homeschool until they're all the way up. finished.
Well, I don't blame you. I don't blame you a bit. I'm going to pause this a second. So then you just, so you must have something out before these Velas. You must have some writing out there, some books.
I do have some like mother type essays out for Mother Scope, and what was the other one? There's a couple of nonfiction magazines that have my writing. Cool. And a couple of like literary magazines that I submitted to.
And you got in.
Mm-hmm.
See, really good. You really are a good writer. And
thank you.
The only one I know of though is Stix so far. I mean, the only one I'm reading.
Yeah.
Personal knowledge is Stix so far. Well, Stix and serial fiction, which I love. So
thank you.
Those are great, and I'm so glad serial fiction is ongoing since Stix is all done.
Yeah. My husband asked me about that. He's like, it's done. I was like, well, when I wrote Stix, it just felt like it had a path that it was following. And serial fiction, I feel like it has so many like webs that it could go into, different storylines. Right.
Serial fiction is true. I mean, what it's showing up to be is true serial fiction, which is fantastic because not that many people are actually writing it like that, where it just branches and branches and goes on like a Mexican soap opera,
Yeah.
And
that's exactly what it feels like in my head when I write that. It just feels like a soap opera.
Right. And people been killed off a couple of times and come back.
Yeah, we might explore that. I mean, who knows where this is going?
There's that new baby there. There's that brand new, doesn't cause anybody any trouble. Not yet anyway. Hello.
Uh-oh.
Hello. That is Coulter's first camera appearance, maybe, for public viewing.
Yeah. Definitely the first one.
I don't think facial recognition can do them when they're like this.
No, I was telling my husband, I was like, he kind of looks like baby Grinch right now. I mean, I know he'll grow out of it, but right now.
You hush, he's adorable. He's a precious baby. So okay, so you're writing 2018, 2019, decided to write some stories, some self-catharsis. You're doing magazines, you're doing blah blah. So at this point, have you explored Kindle as an avenue at all?
I hadn't until, and I was doing some ghostwriting. I was doing some ghostwriting for some other people at that point, and it just wasn't doing it for me. And I didn't even. Oh gosh, keep quiet. I didn't even look into Kindle until I saw Vela coming out, because I had an issue with never finishing a story. And so whenever I was like compelled to keep putting out content every week, that's what finally got me to finish a full length.
What was when it was up on Vela? Is that what you said? I'm sorry. Our connection kind of cut out a little bit.
Oh, I do live in the Stix, so my internet probably sucks.
Yeah, we haven't talked about that yet. Okay. So you heard about Kindle Vela where?
Where did I hear about that? I think it was in a writing group, like on Facebook. There were just whispers of it. And I have never even been on like the KDP site or looked at it or anything until I decided I was going to write Velas.
Oh God, Breanna, that's really something, because I'll tell you what, I found it probably about the same time you did, but if I had to go through and open up my KDP account again and do all of that caca again, I don't know if I'd have climbed that hill. No, was it pretty easy though to sign up with KDP? I bet it is.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
I just had done it years before, and my account was just sitting there. What's going on with them babies? Go look.
All right.
All right. So you were in a writing group and you heard about Vela where? Whispers in this writing group.
Whispers about of serialized fiction of people, because I don't write romance, so wasn't up on all the, they've had serialized apps for a while, and I just I'd never really looked into it. So, and then I was also writing in secret kind of at that point, so publishing a few episodes here and there wasn't so daunting.
Writing in secret.
Mm-hmm.
How do you write in secret?
Well, like I didn't share it on my social media, or like I didn't try to get readers.
I see. Okay. All right. Thought you meant like nobody at home knew, and I thought, wow, this woman really.
Oh no, he knew.
This woman really.
He knew. I just didn't share it with anybody. My family didn't know I was a writer until last year.
And what do they think?
They think it's cool. Now my husband probably hasn't read anything I've written, but he supports. He's like, you do your thing. He has his hobbies. My other family, they do read some of it, and they're pretty supportive. Like my brother reads Stix, or he finished now, but he might be the only one that's read every episode, probably.
Yeah. Well, I strong-armed my sister into reading. I guess I don't know if she even read the episodes or if she just unlocked them because I wouldn't stop bitching at her, but I got her to at least unlock them and fave my story. Well, it's a miracle. That's what I did. So I'm in the same kind of boat. And my husband read a few episodes, but he doesn't read them anymore. Now that they're turning into real books, he doesn't read them. He doesn't watch these shows. Clearly, as I'm talking shit right now.
I love these shows.
Well, I'm so glad you do. I am, because I enjoy making them. I really do. It's brought a lot of fun into my life. After COVID retired me, and I just sort of like rattled around the house like a marble in a coffee for a while.
Yeah.
Except a marble that drinks a lot. But anyway, so I'm glad you heard about this. So which one was the first one you put up?
So I have one that I unpublished that nobody knows about. And it was kind of like a prequel to Pointed Conspiracy. It was done in like case files for missing people that were supposedly happened during the Mothman. Well, I made them. They didn't actually happen in Point Pleasant, but that's what it was. It was case files of missing people. And then it was supposed to lead into Pointed Conspiracy. But I published those and then didn't really know how to promote, didn't know what to do with them. And I was like, I'm going to unpublish these. So I did. And then I came back a few months later with Pointed Conspiracy once my pride wasn't so bruised.
Well, there was nobody there. Into a hole at first.
I had no idea there were groups. I had no idea that there was like a community building. I was just like, well, nobody's reading this. I'm just going to go back to like reporting on news and writing nonfiction because I felt like it wasn't good.
Why do we tell ourselves this BS?
Nobody's ever, they'll never see the light of day. They're tucked away.
Well, but at the same time, I thought for a second you were going to say that you had to unpublish them because they gave away too much of Pointed Conspiracy.
And they were completely separate. They were done completely like case file format.
Right. But I thought you were going to use those case files in Pointed Conspiracy is what I'm saying.
I rewrote some of them and did use those people.
Right. Yeah. See, but that's super cool. I think you should, here's me telling you what to do.
I thought about it.
And I didn't even read Pointed Conspiracy for fuck's sake.
Well,
I think it would be super interesting to maybe in between like every third episode or something, flip them out some case files so they can see what the cops are looking through, you know. What are they looking through? And see if your readers can dredge out the clues to the real thing.
Maybe if I do a second season, I'll revamp that.
Yeah. So what is Pointed Conspiracy about?
So I live in Point Pleasant, which is where the Mothman, or all those conspiracy theories kind of started in the 60s. But instead of like the Mothman being the villain, so to speak, I focused on the Men in Black, which are kind of a big conspiracy theory. They've been spotted in other places too. So I focused on the Men in Black being the shady characters. And I kind of expanded on the bunkers out in the TNT area, which I don't know if you're familiar with any of the Mothman lore, but there's some fanatics out
but there
there
might be people who aren't. So this is lore that comes from deep Appalachia, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Point Pleasant. So before the Point Pleasant Bridge fell, there were all these sightings of the Mothman.
What state?
West Virginia.
There you go.
Not Virginia, West Virginia, everybody.
Oh, for God's sake. Yes, God. Don't ever make that mistake with a West Virginia. I wouldn't recommend it.
We always get so you live near the beach or you live near Richmond. No, not hardly.
Yes. Okay. So keep going. So she lives in Point Pleasant, West Virginia.
And we have a Mothman festival. We have Mothman shops. We have a Mothman statue with a shiny butt crack on Main Street. That's like, Gage Greenwood loves that. I sent him a picture of it. I mean, the Mothman has a nice butt, and they really put it right up there on Main Street. So
oh my God.
I should send you that after.
Okay.
So
okay.
The Men in Black went around to all the people that had supposedly seen the Mothman, and they asked them questions and tried to scare them out of talking about it. And so I kind of went with that after we binge watched Project Blue Book. I can't remember if that was Discovery or whatever, but it was about the guy that was investigating aliens, and they also had their own kind of take on the Men in Black that were scaring people out of talking about UFO sightings. So I kind of took that concept and ran with it versus the Mothman being the bad guy.
How come I can't find any pictures of the Mothman's butt? This is what I want to know. I do not see his little shiny butt. I see only the front of the Mothman. You must provide Vela with a picture of the Mothman's butt.
We have t-shirts made. There are t-shirts made in Main Street about the Mothman's shiny hiney.
But what about this? What about the Mothman prophecies? I don't know myself. I don't really understand. The origins of them are really clouded for me. What is it? Folklore? Old folklore? What's he supposed to be?
Well, there were Native American legends about the Mothman, but the first sighting in Point Pleasant happened. There were some kids parking out at TNT, and they claimed they saw it, outside of their car. And then they went and made a police report after the fact. And then they just kind of, I don't know if it was mass hysteria, if it really happened. I don't know. There were more and more reports about it. And then now they say there's sightings in Chicago. There's been a bunch of sightings in Chicago. And I think some people have traced it back to saying it's like an omen of something bad to happen, which then the bridge fell. So obviously that added fuel to the fire.
Okay. So that's what I knew or thought I knew about it, was that he shows up as like a harbinger of doom. But he mostly has done this in Point Pleasant up to now, up to his recent foray into Chicago.
Yeah. And I haven't looked into those sightings a whole lot. I've just seen whispers on like Reddit forums. And I haven't looked at those in forever. That was mostly research.
Yeah. So have you actually yourself, your very own self, seen a man in black?
I have not. I've seen pictures of people claiming that, like they said, this is the man in black on Main Street. I found pictures of that. And then I've seen like security footage of people claiming they've seen men in black, but I haven't seen one in person. I know they're supposed to look not quite human, but human. That's the really unsettling part. Their faces don't look exactly right, is what people say.
Have you got any pictures? Or you just see these out on Main Street? These are, you know, I'm sure I can find them too. But it's super freaking interesting. Okay, so you live in a place that is already that's legend.
Yeah, and we have a Mothman festival, and we have like paranormal tourists that come and stay in our town. So that's kind of where my mind immediately went, because I'm like, well, from a marketing standpoint, I can publish that as a book and probably put it in our stores on Main Street.
Yes, I mean, you certainly can.
It was a selfish marketing move. Yeah, that's what led me down there.
Listen, girl, be smart, do that kind of stuff. So yeah, I think that's wonderful. So Pointed Conspiracy points to the Mothman Prophecy and is going to get you right on into your local stores.
Yeah, that was the goal.
So is it going on into book, and are we going to see the Pointed Conspiracy?
If I do a second season, it will jump from the 1960s to present day, and it'll have one of the original characters much older in the book. So I've thought about it, and I would actually like to turn that into a graphic novel if I could find somebody to illustrate it.
They tell me they're everywhere. Now, believe me, I don't know where the everywhere is. It's like, you know, if you ever wanted to find the black market, it's always mentioned in movies and shit. Where is it? Where's the black market? I want to go to the black market.
I feel like I'm yelling into like an echo chamber when I try to find something like that.
Yeah, me too. I am not the one that goes out there, and I've got friends who are like, here, I just found you 67 options for this or that. Here you go.
I don't have enough hours. I don't have time to scour the internet for, you know, days on end.
No, who does, for God's sake? Okay, so here we go. We're doing we've done Pointed Conspiracy. And what did you do?
The Hills Know, which is also based on a real place in West Virginia. I had this like ambitious plan to put out like a box set of Appalachian fiction. So that's why everything was set.
Oh my God. That just sounds so great. That sounds so great. Okay, so The Hills Know, what's it about?
It's a ghost story, but it's set on the border of the Green Bank Quiet Zone in West Virginia, which is a place where you're not allowed to have a cell phone. You can have microwave. Like, it's a complete quiet zone because that huge telescope is there. So I had this idea to put a ghost story right on the edge of the Green Bank Quiet Zone where they couldn't have self-service to call out for help if anything happened.
Oh my. Okay, so Green Bank Quiet Zone. You've got some interesting stuff in your area.
Thank you. We have a camp up there.
We got the Space Needle. That's it.
And nobody wants to come here. I don't get
it. Okay, so I don't either. I don't understand. Okay, so this is The Hills Know, and that gave you the idea because you have a quiet zone that you literally can't.
Yeah. We have a camp up there, a cabin that we stay in, and it's just really pretty. And I'd been there, and it's also pretty much the same location Stix was set in.
Wow. And so that's really some dense woods in there. Right?
Yes, you can get lost in there. In fact, my husband's brother did get lost in there at one point when they were fishing.
Oh wow. Did they have to like emergency him out or use the teams or whatever they have, the rescue teams?
No, they followed the river and at some point lost their clothes because it was like 100 degrees out, and his poor redheaded friend was just like burnt to a crisp by the time they emerged from the woods several miles away and had to walk back to the cabin.
Oh man. Oh man. A fried tater tot at that point. Yeah. Oh my God. That's rough. Okay, so the ghost story that happens on the Green Bank Quiet Zone. Tell me a little bit more about the ghost.
Okay, so it starts out, this girl, Mel, the main character, finds out that her mother held on to a property in West Virginia. They lived in California, but then her husband lost his job and they just decided, we inherited this property, so let's just move here because, tight on money, tight on cash. So let's move here and redo this farmhouse. And then after they move in, the typical strange things start happening. And she's also pregnant at the time. And I was pregnant when I wrote this, so I think that's where my brain was at.
Sure.
But she was killed. Yeah.
So what's the ghost? Who's the ghost?
The ghost is, there's actually two ghosts. There's a grandmother and granddaughter. And the grandmother was a midwife, kind of like a granny witch type, which we had a lot of those back in the day in West Virginia. And so the girl is pregnant, but she's young. And I don't want to give too much away, but she dies while pregnant. And so obviously this new pregnant woman being in the house kind of stirs up activity.
I would imagine.
And along with and she finds clues in the house, like scratched wood and bloody rugs and baby shoes. And it's just like an overwhelming sense of something's wrong in the house.
Wow. All right. So now that is the Hills Know. And then you thought of Stix.
I have to give my husband credit for this because he came up with the initial idea because it's based on his family that owned a lumber company in that area. Up until just like a few decades ago, really.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
And the main character, Iva, is based off his grandmother, Ivory. I borrowed a couple of the other names, but she was the main real person I focused on. And I don't want to say that it was all, because the real Ivory was probably a very pleasant lady, but I mean, anybody that's finished Stix, I'll just leave it at that.
All right, well, we'll leave that there, but these are all great stories, and you're doing real well out there on Vela, aren't you doing pretty well?
I mean, I was pleasantly surprised. My activity's fallen back with the last month, obviously, but I mean, I was proud of myself for where it landed on the horror page, especially because when I first started, I would see like Gage Greenwood's name, Naomi, and I was like, I want to be them. And that was kind of my goal. And then to see my story beside theirs on that category page, that was kind of surreal for me. Major fangirl moment.
Oh, I bet. Oh my God. I know it was. Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. I have yet to be on the bubbles since I've been cognizant enough to watch them. I think I was on there for a minute on something like Academy or some HS. I don't know. But anyway, I think I was, but I don't even really remember it because we weren't paying that much attention to them then. Because nobody knew what the hell they were.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's how I was. I didn't know anything or how to get there. Or,
I was so shocked when that first, check came in. Well, the first one was small, but when I looked at it, I'm like, well, wait a minute. How did I make $90? This was up for like, I don't know. This was up for like 2 weeks. How'd that happen?
I know. And now I feel like I'm screaming from the rooftops trying to tell other authors, like, just try it. Just seriously, just try it.
Yeah, just give it a shot, man. Yeah, I know. But anyway, so it's been pretty good. I've really enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed having a way to get my stories out there. It's been motivating.
Yes.
you know,
crazy motivating.
Yeah, it really is. And it's exciting. It's brand new. So I'm excited about it. So you were writing a bunch. You've got also the next one that came out, which was serial fiction, right? Everybody liked that sucker. Everybody.
I had a short story that was based off a short story that was a little bit more serious, that was published in a literary magazine, and I was like, I kind of want to make this campy and wild. I don't know.
And you did.
Colors and the food thing kind of just happened. I didn't plan on that, like the food titles.
And that's so great, though. I mean, some of the best things you don't plan. Some of the best things, the characters and the story itself brings to you.
Yeah.
And it's pretty exciting. So serial fiction it's a fan favorite, man. And this is one you plan to just continue on and branch out.
Yeah, because the main character B, she's just kind of crazy, and she writes herself. Like I don't ever plot anything at all. I sit down and I put on a playlist, and then just what happens. Yes.
Well, I love it. It's a great serial, and everyone I've talked to who's read any of it loves it. So that brings me to, whose Velas have you read? Do you want to shout anybody out particularly?
Yes, of course. Obviously, I've read Gage Greenwood, but
I've given up screaming.
Don't worry, I'm going to branch out. The Path by Jill Robinson and Ravelli Boulevard. I love her.
Wait. I'm still on Gage. So you read Gage. Now, what of his have you read? I am eagerly awaiting my Winter's Myth book.
I've read Winter's Myth, and I'm just starting Bunker Dogs. And then The Path by Jill Robinson, and she also wrote Ravelli Boulevard, which also was like twisted and dark, and I loved it. I wish she'd expand on that a little bit more. Let's see. I'm not a huge romance reader, but I have to shout out Dearest, Georgiana, and St. Abernathy's by my friend Rosie Woodrow. And I love hers because the dialogue is just so snappy and real. Like I'm not one of those people that likes real flowery, like, oh, happy endings. I like the realness of hers.
And what's her name again?
Rosie Woodrow. She might go by Rosalind Woodrow on Vela.
Okay. All right. So
and then I read everything by Tirza.
All right, so we've got Tirza and Gage and Jill Robinson. Her I'm not familiar with. And then Rosie or Rosalind Woodrow.
I know her Facebook has a different name, but I think she writes under Rosie.
So of Tirza's stories, which one?
Spidersight gives me the creeps. Like, legitimately gave me nightmares.
It's my favorite.
Like, I hate spiders, but I couldn't stop.
Well, hey, did you see the ad? You saw the ad I did, right, for you and Tirza?
Yes. Yeah.
Where I get all creepy in the face?
Yes, thank you. You have so much fun. I'm trying. I want to be on your level.
Are you kidding me? I am just barely gripping on. I have no idea what I'm doing. But one thing that I heard about, and we're talking about TikTok now, one thing I heard, and it makes absolute sense, is post fresh stuff all the time. So, I mean, I'm not going to sit there. I'm not designed to sit there and toot my own horn. I don't do it well. It sucks. I don't like it. And I don't just want to keep doing just garbage,
Yeah.
So it's better to just talk about the authors that I've read, the authors that I love, and I just find that easier to do. Gage called me a Vela saint. I'm not a Vela saint. I just don't know what else to do for content because I cannot toot my own horn like that. I can't.
Content is hard, especially when you just want to write, like, but you have to keep doing the content because it's cycle.
Yeah, you've got to. And it's just the reality of an indie author. 2022. It's the way that it is. It's what people want of you. They want your genuineness. They want the reality. They want to see the kids' bike helmets hanging up behind you.
Yes.
And they want to know that they're supporting you, a person with children and bike helmets, you know.
And piggy banks or whatever else is back there.
Not some corporate garbage, you know. That's, people are sick of that. They're sick of it. So so those are your shout outs. Now let me ask you, since you are obviously, like, you know, smarter by 3/4 than, you know, most people. So what would you do if you had the keys to the Vela car and could drive it anywhere you wanted and do whatever you wanted to change it? What would that maybe be?
Well, I'm starting to see a little bit of what I would want, because for a while it was the same people at the top. Like, I mean, the amount of marketing or experts at the very, very top of like the charts has to be unreal. But I would shake that up and make that a little bit more, I don't know, accessible. And I don't know if I like the bubbles. Like, I might get rid of the bubble. I don't know. I wish it was a little bit more like the Kindle, where it's like, because sometimes I feel like the competition is pretty fierce, and I don't know if I'd like to just write and not think about that.
I don't think you're gonna get that, girl.
No, probably not. But other than that, I mean, like, they're starting to push advertising for it a little bit more, which is, you know, encouraging.
And that's what makes the difference in Kindle, because, you know, I think I said this before we started recording, but I wrote a couple of books back in 2013, and they're pretty decent books. And they just sat there like lumps because I had no idea how to advert, no idea how to do any of this stuff, no idea how to find a decent cover artist, or, you know.
Ooh, if Kindle Vela had its own app that you could like swipe, kind of like TikTok, or similar to that, you know, mindset, that would be pretty cool.
Like a For You page. Now they're trying that. They're cool. Trying that. On, if you look, you've got what they have is recommendations for you, which yours came up for me. I thought that was so cool. I was like, look at that.
That makes me feel good.
And it was Stix. That came up. So they are trying. They're trying to get that. They have to get enough readers so that the AI can actually see and make enough and draw dots between them. You know, it's like trying to do a Genius playlist when you've only got, you know, one song, and it can't. It really can't. It needs, either you take the artist with their full variety of it's called a seed set, and algorithms speak, and they need it. They need that actual,
the data. Yes,
they need that data, and they're getting it. It's starting to happen. So things are starting to happen. I hear buzz that there's going to be advertising options soon.
That would be nice.
Yes, I hear buzz, and I mean within Zon itself, official. You know, official advertising. Yes,
that would be
stellar, super cool. So, so visibility, possibly its own app. Anything else? And maybe get rid of the bubbles if you're being honest.
Or make it so it shakes up a little bit more every week, instead of like so hard to like reach the top, you know, 50 or whatever.
Randomize it, like with the snow globe. Snow globe.
Yeah.
Sometimes working data was pretty sexy. I got to admit that. Or I thought it was, because I'm a nerd. But anyway. So That's pretty good. That's pretty good too. I did another interview this morning and she came up with something, and it's so simple. You're just like, it's the V8 moment, you know, when you smack yourself in the head. Hey man, could we have a subscription service for Vela like we do for Kindle Unlimited?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, why don't they do that?
Sure. You pay $14.95 for HBO. You pay, you know, $14.95 for Netflix. You pay $10.95 for Disney. You want to cough up a little bit per month that Zon can count on, like they do KU.
That would, Why
and I was just like, wow, nobody said this. And I love that.
Yeah, because I mean, I think about how much I buy coins to read. Like, it would be a no-brainer.
That's right. Every Vela author would join up immediately. Save some money on tokens, man.
and like, why doesn't Kindle Vela have a really active Instagram page? Because they don't, do they? They have like a Kindle Vela page, but it's not very active.
I don't know. You know, the corporate environment is just so brutal these days, especially with the pandemic and all of the excuses that it brought to do whatever the heck they wanted, this and that. And now everybody who's remaining is expected to do more with less. Fewer people are trying to do twice the jobs, and I don't think Vela's any exception.
Yeah.
You know, I think they try to find talent, and they try to seek that talent, and they try to make it all work, but it's like herding cats. You know, and it takes a long time for anything to happen. So I think that, you know, for my part, as long as they keep paying us, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's hung on a lot longer than any of the naysayers would have liked to, you know, admit.
Right.
So
and we're barely
still here.
Yeah, we're just coming into the first year. We're in month 11 now, right?
Yeah,
because they lit it up in July of 21. And so yeah, we're barely a year. Man, you can't get nothing done in a year.
No.
Not most things anyway. So, you know, so I like all your good ideas. I like that, especially the snow globe effect for shaking up the stories and the fallout being people that have maybe not been seen before, you know, maybe not been given any attention. Without the absolute necessity of going out and hustling yourself a crown so that you can be seen.
Yeah. Because I mean, I find that whenever I'm not actively promoting, like I haven't been for the last month, like my rank goes down. But you know, when you have a baby, what are you supposed to do?
I don't even know how you're doing, what you're doing. I think you're.
Oh, you saw the chaos, right?
I think you're a little bit cray, but you know, I love you, and you look absolutely wonderful. I wish I had looked half that good after, and I only had two kids, and I had them like 1,000 years apart too. So you know, almost 9 years. It was like,
Well, we'll get to travel when it's all over, right? Because we'll have them all together, and then we'll travel.
Yes, and you're gonna be a well-known writer, and you're gonna write your way. Those kids are gonna grow up great. Y'all are gonna be able to take those kids and go places, do things you aren't even thinking of.
So
you're not even thinking of that yet, because you're not there yet, because you're gonna get there. I know you are. Thank
you.
You and Tirza, you know, I want you both to remember me.
How could we forget you?
And don't forget the occasional shout out. Now, my stories, maybe not everybody gets dead or dismembered or all that.
A little bit of happy sprinkled in.
So, you know I'm not in y'all's league and all that, but I swear, I swear you're both going to be household names. And
oh, thank you.
I wish I had some way to get to Stephen King, because I think that if I had some way to get to the guy and show him y'all's work, that he would literally get on a show with you two and give you some encouraging words. I believe that he would believe that to my soul.
What's
but
that
pretty
TikTok
well covered it.
that TikTok sound where it's Kris Jenner and she's like, well, what if you just told Reese Witherspoon about your book or something? I can't remember the sound, but it's like, what if you just sent it into Oprah's book club?
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen that.
It's a good sound. If you find it, you'll have to use it.
So it's a meme sound that
yeah, it's a I can't remember if it's Christian or not. It's like, but what if you just sent your book into Reese Witherspoon's book club or Oprah's? Just mail it in.
And then there's a sound like or something like that. Yeah, because it's like it's rough. You can write to him through his publisher, but that's it. I haven't found anything else. But I thought maybe Twitter. Maybe Twitter. Yeah.
I'm not on Twitter, so you'll have to let me know.
I wasn't for a while, and now we're just talking trash now. We got to get off of here. Mm-hmm. The next thing you got to talk about is what you want to say to the people, and there's going to be a lot of them. Click in the links in the description of this video to get to your stories. What would you like to say to them?
The people clicking the links, thank you. Huge thank you. More is coming. Don't lose hope. I will get there eventually, but thank you a million times. Thank you. I didn't expect anybody to want to read anything I wrote when I first started. So everything else is just icing on the cake.
Well, I can't wait to see what's coming next. And you are a powerhouse young woman, and I am so proud of you. If that's okay to be, you know, I'm old. I figure I can be the Vela mom for everybody.
Thank you.
Well, and that's it for us today. This has been Breanna Leslie. Don't forget, you met her here on Hella Vela. And read her stories. You'll sleep with the lights on. So say bye-bye. Here she is. Bye.